if you were listening to this right now, I need you to stop shrinking from your greatness. Just stop it. And we're going to talk about that and more on today's episode of the Pep Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jay, and I have a question for you. Have you had your dose of pep today? No? Don't worry. I've got you. Let's go. Now that we have that out of the way, I want to welcome you to episode 10 of season 2 of the Pep Talk Podcast. This is the podcast that cheers you on and coaches you up. I'm your host, Coach Jay, a life coach in DFW. And listen, after a couple of episodes of some dynamic guests, I am here with a masterclass of sorts with you because I have something that has really been burning in my chest and I just need to get it out. I need to get it out because there are people here listening to this episode who are actively doing everything that they can to not acknowledge the greatness within them. And y'all, that's not going to fly. Because the purpose of this podcast is to cheer you on and to coach you up. And because we come on every Monday to give you the pep, right? The pep to make it through your week, the pep to inspire pep in other people. We bring the motivation, the encouragement, and the inspiration to get you up and to get you going. If you're out there listening right now, when you are afraid to recognize and embrace the greatness that is in wait, that is lying dormant within you right now, it is up to me on this Monday morning to wake you up. Because living your life, not accepting that you're great, that's criminal. Living your life not discovering your greatness is criminal. Living your life not developing your greatness is criminal. Living your life without displaying your greatness is criminal. You cannot live your life in the shadows for the rest of your life. And I know that there are people out there who are doing it. And the one thing that I hate to see as a life coach is people who know that they have something enormous within them. They're afraid to let it go, to let it shine, to let it loose. And so people live their lives in a sort of straitjacket. And I don't know if I'm describing you or somebody that you know, but here's what I need you to do. If I'm describing you, I need you to go ahead and like this video episode or leave a rate or a review or a comment, whatever. I need to know if it's you. If you're watching this clip on social media and I'm talking to you, I need you to go ahead and hit the button to like it or to leave a comment because, I'm going to help you today because I cannot allow you to continue to go through your life not accepting that you were destined, that you were created for greatness. Now, first off, I need to define what greatness is because so many people associate greatness with fame and acclaim, being on stage and getting the applause. No. That may be a societally accepted definition for what greatness is, but my definition for greatness is simple. My definition for greatness is simply being the absolute best you, the best you that you can be. And that is within your control. Whether anybody else out there notices it or not, whether you get the acclaim of the masses, whether you win that Grammy, that Dove Award, that Tony Award, whether you never get that EGOT, right? The Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony, whether you never get that or not, waking up there, it is a flex to wake up in the morning and know that today you were dedicated to being the best you that you can be. It's a flex. Come on, somebody. It's a flex to go to bed at night knowing that today you were the best you. You were the absolute best you. Whether anybody else noticed it or not, you know just in your heart that today you were the best you possible. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, you're not really seeing the full effect of my passion because I'm bringing it to you today so that you know that your greatness is within grasp. But you have to recognize it. And you have to recognize it and you have to accept it before you can expect anybody else to. Because it doesn't matter how great anybody else thinks you are. They don't know the full measure of your greatness. And it doesn't matter how many people believe you're great. Because if you if you don't believe that you were great, then all of the compliments and all of the platitudes and everything else that people are giving you, it won't stick. Yo, I've lived an enormous part of my life with people telling me all the time, Jay, you have a gift, Jay. You're really talented, Jay. You're this, you're that. And it's almost as if those compliments stick for a bit, but they bounce right back off because I did not have the belief in myself, and I don't want that for you. I don't want you to live your life waiting for everybody else to applaud you when you've not even stopped once to applaud yourself. I told you this is a masterclass. I'm speaking to you from my heart. I'm speaking to you from the depths of my desire to see you win and to know and accept that you truly are destined for greatness. You are truly destined for great things. And it doesn't matter if your great things impact 1,000,000 people or one person, because greatness is not defined by the number of people that you reach. Greatness is defined by how authentically you are presenting yourself and how much you have optimized what you have within you to impact your circle of influence. And I'm telling you, that there are people out there who are shrinking. I need you to tell yourself that these last 2.5 months of 2023, this is a no more shrinking zone. I'm not shrinking myself for anybody and for anything. I'm going after it all. I'm going after everything that I'm supposed to be. I'm trying to get everything that I'm supposed to have, and I'm not shrinking. If you're around me and you want me to shrink, I can't be with you. I can't roll with you. I can't rock with you, even if we've been down like 4 flat tires all my life. If you are asking me to shrink to fit into a box that has been created for me, no, no more. I am choosing. I need you to choose to accept your greatness. And greatness does not come through shrinking. So many times we associate humility with shrinking ourselves to fit into a box. That's not what humility is. Being humble is knowing who you are and what you have, and not having to shout from a rooftop or have anybody else acknowledge it because you are comfortable and you know who you are on the inside of you. That's humility. Humility is not shrinking, it's not making yourself less than. No, that's not humility. That is shrinking. And I am declaring that from henceforth until the end of time, until the Lord calls me home, until the Lord calls you home, that I am living in a shrink-free zone. No more shrinking. And I need you to get that into your heart and to get that into your soul, that you were not created to shrink. You were not created to live your life in a mousy state, accepting the scraps of what's given in life. You were created instead with dominion and authority. And what kind of people take dominion? What kind of people take authority? The people who realize that that greatness, that dominion, that authority is already inside of you. Come on, I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me, because so many of you have spent 2023 fighting for scraps when you were not just created to eat from the table. You created to build your own table. You weren't created to keep knocking your head against the doors that people have closed off from you. You were put here. The greatness is inside of you to create your own room and invite people in who you know what it's like to be where you are. You weren't just created to break the glass ceiling. You were created to build a new house. Come on. That's your greatness. That is the power of who you have been created to be. But see, y'all are listening to me and y'all are saying, Coach Jay, you're on one. And I agree. I am on one because I'm passionate about this. I know what living below your greatness level, I know what it looks like because I did it for so long. I walked around with my head down, afraid of people even acknowledging me, even though I knew that inside of my heart there was something burning. There was something that wouldn't allow me to just stay there. Here's the thing. Here are the reasons why people don't accept the greatness inside of them. Number one, they're afraid to fail. What if I fail? I think it's in a book or something. What if I fail? And then the mama says, "But baby, what if you fly? What if you fly?" People say I have this fear of failure. No, I'm going to say that you have a fear of success. You're like, what if I fail? No, 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 no. What if you succeed? What if you succeed? And what if that success doesn't look like what you think it looks like, but it's still success? What if you have to go through 30 auditions to get that one part, but you finally get it? Who cares how many auditions you went to? Those weren't failures. Those were training grounds for that one opportunity. Oh, I'm talking to somebody out there. I'm talking to an artist. I'm talking to a dancer. I'm talking to an actor. I'm talking to a singer. It doesn't matter how many times you're told no. Get rid of that fear of failure and embrace that success is coming at some point. But the idea of not trying because you're afraid to fail, no, 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 no. You're afraid of what would happen if you succeed. You're afraid of the new expectations on your life as a result of that success. Yeah, okay. So people are afraid to fail. They're afraid of criticisms. We don't want to put ourselves out there because we don't want people to poke holes in what we present. And I understand some people, their criticism comes from a place of jealousy. They are coming to bite your neck off. They are coming to cut you down and to make you feel less than. But listen, if you refuse to allow yourself to be cut down, if you look at yourself and say, I'm too great to be cut down, this criticism, it's coming to try to diminish me, then you take their power. But see, here's the other thing. True constructive criticism will tell you what you can improve, but it will also help you by giving you the steps to get there. If somebody is coming into your life and they are criticizing you and they're not willing to walk along the process with you to make sure that that growth takes place, disregard whatever they have to say. Because truly, if I am a leader, if I'm a manager, if I'm a coach, and I have the boldness to come into your life and tell you what needs to change, then I should have that same boldness and that same energy to be willing to walk you through the steps to get where I'm telling you that you should be. Don't come to somebody and tell them that you have all the potential in the world if you're not willing to help them, usher them through the process to access that potential. Otherwise, potential becomes a four-letter word, because then you're wondering all through life, I have this potential. What do I do with it? Nobody ever told me what to do with it. So we're afraid of criticism. We're afraid also that people won't accept us. So we shrink, but you gotta stop shrinking. Brother, sister, cousin, auntie, unc. You've got to stop shrinking. You've got to be afraid that people won't accept you because the people, let me see if I can get this right. The people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. Did you hear me? The people who mind who you are or what you do, they don't matter. The people who matter don't mind. They will accept you as you are, and in doing so, they will elevate you into who you are supposed to be. I hope you're taking notes, because y'all. And lastly, people who don't embrace their greatness, they're afraid of who they can become. They're afraid of who they can become. I don't need you to be afraid of who you can become. I need you to be excited about who you can become. I'm excited about who I'm going to be 6 months from now. I'm excited about who I'm going to be a year from now. I'm excited that I'm not moving back, but I'm moving forward. I am moving forward in boldness. I am grateful for my journey, but I embrace my future with boldness. Somebody needs to get that affirmation in their life. It doesn't matter what I've come from or what I've had to endure to get here. I embrace who I am. It's okay, but I know that I'm becoming a better version of myself. I am transforming like Optimus Prime. I am transforming. I am metamorphosizing like a butterfly. Y'all might have only seen the caterpillar, but it's okay because I know that I have a butterfly within me. And once that butterfly comes out, I'm about ready to fly. I'm about ready to take off right now because I'm not afraid of who I can become. I know who I have been, but I embrace who I am and I am excited about who I am becoming. And so if you don't like it, that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. Because remember what we said, we're not shrinking anymore. There is no more shrinking in my DNA. I'm not shrinking for no thing, and I'm not shrinking for anybody. Or if you'll excuse my non-English speak, I'm not shrinking. I ain't shrinking for nobody. And listen, my greatness tells me that I don't care how many times you watch me try. I don't care how many times you watch me not get the part or not get into the program. I don't care how many times you watch me bump my head against the same wall. My greatness tells me I'm okay with that. Because what I understand is, as many people who are watching me to see how many times I'm willing to fail, there is always that one person that is watching to see what happens and how many times I get back up. And when I keep getting back up and I keep trying, then the person who's watching me, they understand that the greatness in me keeps me going. So that allows them to access the greatness within them, which will allow them to keep going as well. So it doesn't matter. I'm not shrinking, I'm growing. I'm not shrinking my greatness, I'm growing into the great Coach J that I'm supposed to be. And you're growing into the great insert your name here that you're supposed to be. No matter what lane of life you're in right now, no matter who you are or where you're listening from, no matter how old you are, no matter what gender you are, there is greatness inside of you that is clawing and scratching and yelling and screaming to come out of you. And I'm telling you that if you are afraid to fail, if you're afraid of criticisms, if you're afraid that people won't accept you, and if you're afraid of who you can become, that greatness will stay a seed. It'll stay in winter. It'll never get to experience the sunlight of spring. And you deserve better than that. You deserve better than that. And y'all, I'm sorry. No. I'm not sorry if my decibel levels are up on this. I'm passionate about you becoming who you are supposed to be. I'm passionate about you accepting your greatness. I'm passionate about you not staying where you are, but becoming more. I'm passionate about that. And if you've listened to this podcast, you should know that when I start talking about you being a champion and you accepting your greatness, y'all, I'm dead serious. I told you from the jump, I'm on one in this episode because it is important. It is imperative that you become, that you accept your greatness and that you live in that greatness and that you show that greatness because in you being great, you free other people to be great as well. So now I've told you why why we refuse to accept our greatness. But now I want to give you some ways that you can access your greatness. Okay? Number one, you have to be aware that you're great. You have to believe in your greatness. So here's what I need you to do. I need you every morning when you wake up, I need you to run to the mirror and I need you to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know, you're great. There is greatness within you that's ready to come out. You are great. You are a great teacher. You are a great dancer. You are a great singer. You are a great businessman. You are great even before the business idea takes off. You are great even before you get accepted into the music program or the dance program. You're great. Because even if it hasn't manifested yet, it will. Because that greatness within you is not going to allow you to quit. So you're great. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're great on your way to work or walking to class in the morning. Keep telling yourself on a repeat, you're great. Record yourself on your phone just saying you're great, you're great, you're great. And keep that bumping in your ears like your favorite music, like make that the favorite beat of your life. Keep telling yourself because you have to believe it in order to access it. You have to be aware that the greatness is there in order to access it. You have to become used to hearing you affirm you because we can't depend on the audience. We can't depend on the crowd. The crowd doesn't come until you realize how great you are and you begin acting like it. So if you're going to become great, step number one is believing that the greatness is inside of you. You also have to be intentional. Y'all, greatness and vision, they are not something that's just going to come out of thin air. And I made a reel about this. It's not going to come and sit in your lap and say, oh, I'm here. No, no. You have to be intentional. You have to be intentional about pursuing your greatness. Just like you were intentional about pursuing that significant other, just like you were intentional about pursuing that pizza you had for dinner, you have to be intentional about pursuing your greatness. And this has to become a matter of life and death for you. It has to become as important as your next breath because you have to understand that for some people, they will never understand how great they are until they see you living in your greatness. There are some people out there who will never understand what a bounce back looks like until they see you bounce back from a failure into your greatness. So there's a lot riding on it. It's not just for you. You're not just being great for yourself. You're being great for the people who are watching you be great. You're being great for the people who don't believe that there's greatness in them. And so they're looking at the greatness in you. And if you refuse to show your greatness, to access your greatness, if you refuse to be intentional about your greatness, then there are people who will never know the greatness that God has placed inside of them. The seed that's stuck in winter that will never realize the fertile ground and the sunshine and the rain of the spring. Come on, somebody. Another way to access your greatness is to be passionate and persistent in your pursuit. Now, I'm not telling you to be single minded in your pursuit of your greatness, but it needs to matter to you something serious. You have to be passionate about developing what's inside of you. You have to be passionate about that seed that's in here. You have to be passionate about that seed growing roots. You have to be passionate about that seed, that sprout clawing its way up out of the ground, out of you. You have to be passionate and persistent. You can't give up the first time you're told no. You can't give up the first time you fall and you stumble and you skin your knee. You can't give up. You have to be persistent and keep knocking on that door. You have to be persistent and keep emailing that manager. You have to be persistent and keep bothering that department manager of that program that you want to get into. You have to be persistent in your pursuit. You have to visualize it. Who is it that you are in your fully realized form? I love watching anime, and in anime, the thing I love about anime is that everybody always has an elevated form. So the person that we see at the beginning of the anime is not the person that we see at the end of the anime. Any Dragon Ball Z fans out there, Goku at the beginning is not Goku in Super Dragon Ball, in Dragon Ball Super. He's elevated by several levels of power. And I am telling you now, I'm challenging you to visualize yourself in your ultimate form. What are you doing? Who are you impacting at the height of your power, at the height of your greatness? Who is benefiting from what God has placed inside of you to do? Who is benefiting from the greatness within you? What are you using that greatness to do? You're sitting in that big corner office, or you're standing at the head of the table in the boardroom. How does that feel? What does that look like? What suit do you have on? Oh, is it pinstripes? Okay. Okay, I dig it. I dig it. Oh, okay. I see you, sis. You got those red bottoms on, right? Right? Oh, wait, no. Oh, okay. You have your own shoe line that you're wearing. Okay. I dig it. Oh, okay. Wait. What's that you said? Oh, you are not just a company member, but you are the prima ballerina in a major theatrical piece? Okay, I see it. But see, I see it. Some of y'all haven't seen it yet, but you need to see it. You need to see it. You've got to see yourself there before you even get there so that you know how to act when you get there. So that once you get there, you're not acting brand new because you've been there in your head the whole time. You don't have to wait until you become him or her to really act like you're him or her, or to believe like you're him or her. Because when you get there, people are going to ask, how did you get there? And you can look at them and you can say, yo, I've been him. Y'all just didn't see it. Y'all just didn't know it. I've been great. I didn't just become great when y'all noticed me. I've been great. All my life, I've been great. All my life. Before the applause, before the fame, before the stacks of cash, before the billion-dollar stock portfolio, before my name was on the cover of Forbes, before you saw my picture on the cover of Ebony and Jet, before Elon Musk even had me with a blue check mark on X, I've been great. Y'all are just late to the party. And lastly, if you're going to truly become great, you need to make a habit of celebrating every step along the way. Celebrate it. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate how far you've come. Celebrate every milestone along the way, even if you were just making a conscious decision right now to realize how great you are. Put your party hat on, cut your favorite song on, and just dance like nobody's watching. Because that is a monumental step in your development and in your growth. Now, y'all, I've given you the best that I can out of my heart for you and out of my life coaching handbook. If we were in a life coaching session with me, this is what I would be telling you to do. But as much as I have said to you now is where you have to do the work. Now is where you have to do the work. Now is where you have to believe or not. Now is where you have to put the work in or not. Because if you're really comfortable shrinking, then you're just going to stay shrunk. But if you're not okay being this big, then right now is a monumental moment that will shape the remainder of your life. Some of y'all can hear it in the back of your head. It's that voice saying, I'm in here. Your greatness is in here. Some of y'all are writing it on your mirror. Some of y'all are about it. And you're about to see a massive shift in your quality of thinking, which will impact the quality of your life. You're about to see a massive shift in the quality of your believing, which will have a massive momentous shift on the quality of your life because your greatness is growing. Your greatness is coming out of you. I see it, and it's a beautiful thing. It looks good on you because you're great. And you're not shrinking for anybody. Not anymore. That's not what we're doing. Pep Squad, we're not shrinking. We are not shrinking no more. We're not shrinking anymore. And we are looking with courage and boldness toward our future by embracing our greatness in the present. Y'all, I can't tell you how thankful I am that you all have tuned in for this episode of the Pep Talk podcast. It has been a blast. This has been a masterclass on greatness, on why some people reject it and what you can do to embrace your greatness. And I hope that y'all can hear my passion for you because I love you. I love you so much. And that you would choose to spend this time with me on Mondays and allow me to speak into your lives to start your week. That is not something that is lost on me. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I love you. And if you are deriving value from this podcast, from what we're doing here on Mondays, would you do me a favor and please share this episode and subscribe to this podcast, whether it's on YouTube or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Prime Music, Google, however you're getting us, wherever you're listening. I am for you. I want to see you win, and I want to see you be as great as you were created to be. This has been the Pep Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jay. Again, I'm a life coach in DFW. If you need some one-on-one coaching, it would be my honor to usher you through where you've been to where you are, to where you are supposed to be. I would love to do that for you. Just reach out on our socials at _ JB Speaks on Instagram, the Pep Podcast at gmail.com. And I will get right back to you. I'm here for you. I believe in you. I'm rooting for you to be as great as you're supposed to be. And as we always say when we close, y'all, keep it love, keep it light, and keep it pep. We'll see you next week for the Pep Talk Podcast, episode 11. Y'all be blessed. Peace.